Hello and welcome to week 10 of the Wall of Stitches Crochet Along, and this is piece number 19, which we are making using the V and puff stitch. So this is a bit of an unusual stitch. It's quite lacy and open, but it's got two different types of stitches in here, the V and puff. It's all in the name, but it does look fantastic. But to add your border at the end, you do need to listen to the instructions because the number of stitches you have across the top are a bit strange. So to start this piece, you're going to be making a foundation chain of 67. So I've gone ahead and marked the first chain for my hook because my turning chain is going to count as the first stitch of the row. And to start the V and puff stitch, we're going to make a double crochet in the fourth chain from my hook. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then in the next stitch, we're going to make a V stitch. So insert your hook into the stitch and make the double crochet, then chain 2, and working back into the same chain, make another double crochet. And this creates your V stitch. So V stitches for this stitch is double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, all in the same stitch. Okay, so once you've made your V stitch, skip the next 2 chains. And in the next chain, we're going to make a puff stitch. So it's a 3 yarn over puff stitch. So yarn over, insert your chain in, hook into the chain, pull up a loop. So you want to pull it up to the same height as your double crochet. Yarn over, back into the same chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, back into the same chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you should have 7 loops on your hook. To finish your pull, you're going to yarn over, pull through 6 loops, leaving 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. And that's how we make puff stitches for this stitch. Okay, so once you finish your puff stitch, you're going to skip the next 2 chains, and in the next chain, make another V stitch. So double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet, all in the same chain. Okay, skip the next 2 stitches. In the next stitch, make a pull. So we're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop 3 times until you have 7 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 6 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then skip the next 2 chains and make a V stitch. So double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, all in the same stitch. And you're going to continue that all the way across your row until you have 4 chains left. Okay, so when you've got 4 stitches left, you're going to skip the next 2, and then in each of the last 2 chains, you're going to make a double crochet. And that is row 1 of the V and puff stitch. Okay, so to start row 2, we're going to turn, chain 1, make a double crochet turning chain in the first stitch. Grab a stitch marker. And then we make a double crochet in the next stitch. So for all your rows, you're going to start and end each row with 2 double crochet. And remember, your turning chain counts as one of those double crochets. So now we're going to make a puff stitch, and we're going to make it into the chain space of the V stitch. So you make the puffs the same way as you did in the row below. Yarn over, pull up a loop 3 times. You want to pull them up, your loops up to the same height as your double crochet stitches. Yarn over, pull through 6 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. and then skip to the next puff stitch. And into the top of that puff stitch, just right there, you're going to make a V-stitch. So, double crochet, chain 2, still working in that same stitch, make another double crochet to create your V-stitch. But the V and puff stitch is nice and simple in that you always make a V-stitch after a puff stitch, and each V-stitch is made into the top of a puff stitch, and each puff stitch is made into the top of a V-stitch. So it's really nice, easy stitch to keep track of. So after you've made your V-stitch, you're going to make a puff into the chain space of the V-stitch in the row below. Okay, so 3 times you go into that space, have 7 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 6 loops, yarn over, pull through 7 loops. Stretch some more yarn, and then skip to the next puff stitch and make a V-stitch. 1, 2, and double crochet back into the same stitch to make the V. Okay, and you continue this all the way down the row. And once you've made your last puff stitch into the top of that V-stitch in the row below, once you've done that, you're going to skip to the last 2 stitches and make a double crochet in each. And that just finishes off your row. And that's row 2 of the V and puff stitch. Okay, so row 3. And scratch some more yarn. This does eat quite a bit of yarn because of all the puff stitches. Okay, turn, chain 1, make a double crochet turning chain in the first stitch of the row. And then in the next stitch, which is a double crochet from the row below, you make another double crochet. Okay, so 2 double crochets to start our row. So our next stitch is the puff stitch. Into the top of that puff, you're going to make a V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 2, and then double crochet into the same stitch to make your V. Your next stitch is a V-stitch, so into there in the chain space, you make puff. So really nice, easy repeats all the way across your rows. Ooh, sorry, my husky hair has got in the way. They're molting a bit at the minute. A lot, I should say. Okay, so now the husky has gone. So after your puff stitch, which you've made in the V, your next stitch is the puff stitch, and at the top of that, you make a V-stitch. Double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, all into that same stitch that is above your puff, and then puff into the V-stitch. And you carry this on all the way across your row. Puff stitch into the V-stitches, V-stitches into the top of the puff stitches. There's no other stitches in between. So last stitch of this row is on the top of the puff stitch, so we'll make a V-stitch and finish that. And that will leave us with the last 2 stitches, and into each of those we make the double crochet. 1 and 2. And that's row 3. So to complete your V and puff piece, you're going to be repeating rows 2 and 3 until you have 7 rows in total. Once you finish row 7, you can cut off and weave in your ends, and then it's time to add your border. Okay, so the border for this one is not as simple as the rest of the pieces. So across the bottom, you're going to make a single crochet in every stitch. So that'll give you 65 stitches in total. Across the top, you need to make a single crochet in the first stitch. You skip the next stitch, make a single crochet in the first double crochet of the V, make 2 single crochet in the chain space, and then make a single crochet in the next double crochet. And you do that same thing at the other end of the piece, in reverse. I'll repeat that again in a second. So in all of the stitches in between, so it's only the first and last V of this piece that this applies to, every other stitch in between, you make a single crochet into the top of the puff, then make a single crochet into the next double crochet, make 3 single crochet into the chain space, and a single crochet into the next double crochet. And you repeat that all the way across until you get to the last V. Okay, so into the last V, you make a single crochet into the first double crochet of that V, 2 single crochet into the chain space, single crochet into the next stitch, skip the next stitch, and then single crochet into the last stitch of the row. And that will give you 65 stitches in total. Down the sides, it's much simpler. You make 2 single crochet into the side of every row. That will give you 14 single crochet down each side. And then of course you add your extra stitch in the corners for the turn. So once you've done that, you can cut off and weave in your ends. Of course, after you finish the other 2 rows of the border, and then you join this piece to your moss piece with a flat braid join. Once you've done that, it's time for our next piece, which is the linked single crochet. So I shall see you in a moment for that video. And don't forget, if you have any trouble with this piece, please do come to the Facebook group Froggity Frogs Ribbons and Stitch, and you can ask all your questions there. I shall see you in the next video.